Hello, divine folks. It's your girl Nerese back on live. I don't know if y'all saw my post earlier today. If you didn't, you're missing out. You need to go watch that. But if you can hear the music in the background, it is a track off my project Divine called Aloe. And I did a little cover earlier today. But I also mentioned on my post that, I'm a little bit under the weather. I've been trying to kick a cold for the past few days, but, since I was home, and I did get dressed, because I'm a firm believer in, if you want to feel good, you want to do the things that make you feel good, even when you don't. So, I was like, look, I'm going to get dressed and do my hair and makeup and all of that stuff. And, but I figured, since I had some time to get on live and I didn't do empowerment tea this morning, I might post it later. But there was a few things that I kind of wanted to talk about on live. And I think it would be an interesting conversation. So first of all, can we just have a moment for the fact that Beyonce just dropped her track list? Like, I'm so excited about it. Okay, so I had posted on Twitter. If y'all don't follow me on Twitter, you need to, at Queen Reese Tia. But hold on, y'all. All right. Okay, this is a hell of a track list. Okay. Oh, yeah. I'm thinking of a version of this song that I didn't put on the EP, and it's kind of funny when I think about it. But, all right. All right, hopefully I can think with these songs playing in the background. But, like I say, I got to do my little plugs, Yeah, so, hi, welcome in the live. So, Beyonce just dropped her track list. I'm pretty excited about it, right? And it's funny because it kind of coincides with what I already wanted to talk about on this live. Let me just pin a kind of the topic here. So I wanted to talk about, just women in the music industry who've kind of paved a way of being like independent in what they do and, being very hands-on in not only their art, but just the business side. And, so let me just, hold on. Let me just pin that real quick. I live, love, That's like my live version, but it's usually like an octave higher. But I'm like, child, we still trying to rest these vocals. Anyway, hold on. Okay, so I think this is giving innovative women in music. Yes, these are ads, y'all, because I do not pay for Spotify at this moment in time. I am yet to be rich, so until then. Okay, all right. So I had to take a second to figure out how I wanted to, write this out. All right, so, while that's going on, I do want to turn this down a little bit. Okay, so what gave me the inspiration of kind of talking about, like, women in music was the fact that I'm working on a Teena Marie song. I'm not going to say the song. Eventually y'all all might see what's going on. It's a project I'm pretty excited about. But in the midst of me like rehearsing and practicing this song, I was just thinking like, I remember watching like something kind of like Unsung on Teena Marie. And I remember like there was a period in her career where she wasn't really making music, and she was like going through financial struggles and stuff like that. And I was just like, as I was like rehearsing this song, I was like really intrigued with her story again. So I was like, let me watch this. And just to kind of get an understanding of like the woman behind the music, because all of us, when it comes to like artistry and stuff, we oftentimes like love the music and love the artists who we see in these videos and see in interviews from time to time. And of course, now that we're in an era of social media, you have a chance to get a little bit more access to your favorite artists. But, we didn't have that back then. So I was like, you know what, let me watch this Unsung on Teena Marie. And I was just so amazed by her story and just how ahead of her time she was. Like, of course, it was that whole thing of like her being the Ivory Queen of Soul. Like she was the, the white girl with the soulful voice. And she like, the black community held her down basically because, she's like a national treasure for us. But there was so many things behind the scenes that she was involved in that I feel like people don't really recognize. For one, as a whole, I feel like she just doesn't get her flowers enough. Like, I feel like we know her music when it comes on, but no one really like talks enough about Teena Marie. And then when I learned about her story, and I was just like, wait, she was doing like a lot of things that, a lot of people weren't doing at that time, especially in like the 70s and 80s and stuff like that. So, yeah, so basically, at first she was like classically trained in playing piano, right? And then I'll say this too, what initially sparked me going into the rabbit hole of like looking up her story was, learning this song that I was working on. And I'm just looking at these lyrics like, oh my gosh, like the pen is penning, okay? Like just how she was using personification and how she was, describing things with human characteristics, which is personification, but she did it in such a beautifully eloquent and like poetic way. And I was just like, oh my gosh, these lyrics are dope. And I never really thought of her like as a songwriter, and so yeah, so I was like, all right, let me look into her story, right? And so I knew like she played like some instruments. I remember seeing her play guitar, but I didn't know she was like trained in playing piano. Like she's a pianist and she plays guitar and she writes. And in the beginning of her career, when she was working with Rick James, he pretty much produced a majority of her first album. And there was like maybe one song that she wrote and produced on her own. But as she was evolving in her career, she was learning how to produce and arrange her own records. And she was a woman doing this at this time. So I think maybe by like her third album, which I believe was, I could be wrong, Lady T, that might have been her second one. I'm not 100% sure. But I know by like her third and fourth album, she was in an area where she was, composing, producing, and, writing and arranging her own music. And, to do that as a woman, like at that time, it was like pretty unheard of, and I'm pretty sure there's other women who would do stuff like that. But I have so much respect for, female artists who, y'all don't tear me up with the whole female thing. Y'all know what I'm trying to say. Artists who are women. Cause I don't know. Everything is like, you gotta be politically correct about everything these days, but y'all know what I'm trying to say, But to see someone who is a woman not only perform their music, but be so hands-on behind the scenes. And I respect that so much because that's pretty much what I aim to do as an artist. Like, and there's so many hats that I wear with my artistry. Like I was saying in my other live of, not only am I the artist, but I'm starting my own record label. And I house the management and production and distribution of my own music right now until, things happen in the future. And maybe I'll have a team and some help with that and maybe a parent label. Who knows? Just putting that out into the universe, with integrity and love and fair pay and respect and all of those things, But, you know, so that was one thing, right? That was the one aspect about her story that I was amazed by. Like, you know, just how involved she was in the creative process of her music. And her music is so good. You know, like she got like 20-minute long songs, but the instrumentation is amazing, you know? And then, you know, and then when I think back to Square Biz, I'm talking square biz to you, baby. Square biz. Like, y'all know that song. I mean, if you don't, like, who raised you? But even then, it's funny because I think back to this moment, like, when I was younger, and I remember I was like hanging out with my cousins or something, and we were listening to Square Biz on the radio, and I'm pretty sure we had already heard this song before, but it was right around the time when like 1-2 Step came out by Sierra, right? And so we're listening to Square Biz, and then when, you know, where it gets to the rap part, the rap part towards the end, and I'm trying to think of the words because, you know, but we were listening to it and we were like, wait, hold on, this sounds familiar. And it was basically the same rap that Missy Elliott did on 1-2 Step. And we were like, hold on, okay. It was basically the same rap, but she changed it. 5 for 2, I want to dance with you, and that's sophisticated fun. Like, you know, that whole part. Like, and so then I was really thinking, I was like, wait, hold on. Like, I already knew that was where that sample came from because of that moment many years ago. But then I was really thinking, like, yo, Teena Marie was really rapping out here. Like, you know, like, back in the day before, like, hip-hop was officially a thing, like, she was rapping on her music as well as, like, singing. And, you know, like, of course she would do, like, her, like, skits where she would talk on the record. But I'm like, Lady T was really spitting bars out here. What's the tea? And you know that's me. Like, ahead of her time. Like, we say that shit now. Like, what's the tea? And I'm like, wow, just amazed by, like, how dope she was. Okay, and so that's the musical aspect, right? And so, you know, they were going on Unsung, what I was watching, they were going through, like, her journey and her music career, like, how she was with Motown, and then she left Motown. Okay, that was another thing, too. I didn't want to talk too much about it because I don't know the specific information, but basically, she was at Motown, and she left Motown to go to Epic. And so Motown sued her for breaching her contract. But actually, she ended up countersuing them and suing Motown back because there was this thing within the fine print where they have to pay their artists at least like $6,000. You know, I forget what the details of that was, but because it was so little of a pay, nobody really noticed that. But that was like a standard in the music industry at the time, and she never got paid that money. And so they found that loophole in the contract, and so she was able to use that to countersue Motown. And because she did that lawsuit, it propelled different cases, what I believe, with Tom Petty and some other really big artists at that time. And based on her case with Motown, it sparked, you know, a lot of situations with other artists and record labels who had issues leaving their label because of that same issue with them not paying those artists that small amount of money. I mean, hey, give me that money. But, you know, I mean, if you're in the industry and you're making, you know, you're recouping and all of that stuff, you're not thinking about that initial payment for the artist. But yeah, so, you know, they never gave her that payment, and she was able to use that in court, and she won. And the crazy thing about that whole situation is, even after being in a legal battle with her label at Motown, she still had a cordial, if not loving, relationship with the people at Motown. Like, she had a relationship with Smokey Robinson, and even like Berry Gordy, even after that situation, after she had already moved on to Epic, you know, they had a great relationship, and he always had love for her. And I felt like that was kind of dope, to be in a situation when you have like a legal battle with someone, but then there's still that mutual love and respect. And I'm like, you know, it takes a level of maturity to be that way. And, you know, and I've had my own issues with people where I'm just like, I think like that. And I'm like, look, we can have a disagreement, but I can still appreciate you as a person, or I can still appreciate you as an artist. But, you know, or say for whatever reason, if I don't like this particular aspect about you or how you move or whatever the case may be, you know, but I can still have enough respect to be like, all right, in this particular lane, you are really dope. But, you know, a lot of people harbor a lot of animosity and resentment and stuff like that, and don't have that level of maturity to compartmentalize stuff like that. So if they're mad at you for one thing, they're mad at you for everything, you know? And it's like, I don't know, that'd be corny to me. But, sorry, y'all, I got my watermelons over here because, you know, watermelons is good for hydrating the vocals. Shout out to Erica for sending me that video. With the vocal tips and whatnot. So I literally have been like instilling those habits into my life. So, you know, yeah, so watermelons, it's good for hydrating your body, keeping the vocal flaps hydrated. So I got a little watermelon to the side. I'm not doing it old melon style. That was a shout. Y'all, bear with me. That's another lie for another day. All right, but anyway. So, yeah, that was that whole Motown situation. So then, right? After she had already fulfilled her contract with Epic, she put out hella albums with them. And then she got to a period in her career where she was kind of like taking things slow because she became a mother, and she wanted to be in her child's life. She was like, I don't want a bunch of nannies, like I want to be a mom, I want to be present in my child's life, and you know, I want to be there. And so she put music on the back seat at that point. But she got to a space and time where like she was struggling financially, and so she decided to do music again. But instead of like looking to be signed at any other label, she started her own label. Granted, it wasn't a success when she released her music in comparison to her previous music, you know, but I was still amazed at that. I was like, wait, hold on. Because I'm pretty sure I had heard that before, but this was before I had even started my own label, so it didn't resonate with me then like it did now. And I was just thinking like, wait, for her, and mind you, this was in the 90s. So in the 90s, she took the initiative and had the ambition and the nerve to be a woman in music and say, you know what, I'm going to try my own label. And even though it didn't necessarily work out for her, but just to even the attempt, you know, and to be a woman and do that, like you don't see that like that, you know. And she was saying like the music that she made during that time was some of the best music that she had ever made, but like it was a challenge because it wasn't like when you have the machine of an established label behind you that can pour into promotion and getting you at radio stations and stuff like that. And I'm sure like at this time, like she was already established and she's made a name for herself, so she was able to, you know, leverage her relationships in the industry. But it's still different because, you know, to make music and promote music and do visuals and stuff like that, that costs money. Like being an artist really costs money, especially depending on the type of artist that you are. Like if you're really into like visuals and fashion and costumes and accessories and all of those things, like even just the look and the brand alone, let alone making the actual music, hiring musicians and instrumentalists, like that should add up. You know, and then promotion, like the marketing, you know, like you really have to be able to spend a coin and really feel that it's worth it. And so to be in a financially struggling place and then saying, all right, you know what, I'm gonna try to start my own label and push it myself, you know, I have so much respect for her doing that, you know, at that time as a woman, you know, where that was unheard of, you know, like no people weren't really doing that like that for real back then, you know, like in the 90s, in order to make it, like your first thought was like, okay, we need to go get signed by a label. Like being independent wasn't really like a thing back then. So, you know, another instance where she was ahead of her time, you know, and it might not have been a great success, but just like to be a pioneer in that way, to where we look at today, where you see so many people are independent or they start their own labels, and you have people like, there's so many people that have their own labels, but I think like I might have referenced this before, I don't know, but I might have said this on House of Divinity, which is also my YouTube channel that y'all should check out if you search House of Divinity. I discuss different things like this. This is a very like House of Divinity type content right now. And I haven't shot for that in a while, but I might get back into it. But if you like, if you sit and watch this and you enjoy me talking about like music industry stuff, let me know. Because I study this all day, and one for my own like learning, but then also because like I'm passionate about it and I love to talk about like industry stuff beyond just like, oh, that music video was so cute, like I'm looking at like, damn, I wonder what kind of budget they have for this, and I'm looking at it like, okay, the video was cute, but like where's the concept, that type of thing. Like I'm looking at it in a more in-depth like perspective for like the business side, but also the creative side too, because you can have these videos with a big ass budget and it's like real cute, but it's like the video ain't got no concept, or it does have a concept but the concept don't make no sense, and I'm just like, okay, like give me that budget, because you wasting money at this point in space and time, but anyway, that's beside the point. But so yeah, but you see how you have women like Teena Marie being willing to create their own record label in the 90s, when that was an unheard of thing. Like she was already ahead of her time when it came to like being a female producer, writer, singer, performer, instrumentalist, multi-instrumentalist, and then getting to a point where she was like, I'm gonna start my own record label. All the way up until today, where you have somebody like a Beyonce who started Parkwood Entertainment and manages and produces herself, and and it's a successful business, and it houses everything from like Ivy Park, and what else does she do? It's everything. Like she does so many things, like her visuals, like her visual films and albums, as well as the music and the artistry and the live performances, like all of that is produced in-house. And she, like I always say, she runs a mean ship. Like, like them NDAs, she do not play. Like stuff do not get out like that. And you can tell the team that works with her are really passionate and they truly care, aside from the fact that like, oh, it's Beyonce. Like, like you can tell like the people around her make sure her creative vision comes to life, and it is rolled out in a way where it's it's smart, and she's strategic as fuck. She's calculated with her moves, not even just as an artist but just as a businesswoman. Like, pay me in equity for real. Like, she really do that shit. And that just, it just amazes me, but it inspired me to talk about that, just because of like, where I am right now, just kind of, building this label, getting it up out the mud, what I'm saying, brick by brick, Brick City made. It's like, no, I was born there. I landed on the planet in Brick City, but I was not raised in Brick City. So let me get that clear. But hey, you have to land on the planet to start at life, right? So, but I say this to say, like, if anybody's watching this and there's other like women, or even if you're not a woman and you're, a genderless person, or you're a male or whatever, and you're an artist and you're creative, and you're not only a creative, but you have a business mind, and you're willing to do the work in business to elevate your artistry, however that looks for you, like, really keep going, because there's so many pioneers that's come before us that's shown us how to do it, and they might have stumbled along the way, but they stumble forward to, show you like, okay, this person tried this out, maybe let's maneuver it like this, maybe let's approach it this way. And with each generation, there's always somebody that pushes it forward a little bit more. So younger generation, like people, so the younger generation, like me, have a clear blueprint of someone to watch and learn from and look up to and try to navigate this thing, but then not necessarily do it just like that person, but you fit it to your brand, you fit it to your personality and your style and how you want to approach, putting yourself out there. So, sorry y'all, I was a little thirsty. But yeah, I just want to get on live for a little bit. I'm so surprised that I have not coughed in the last 5 minutes, because let me tell you, every time I've been talking, like this morning, oh my gosh, it was horrendous, child. Just trying to breathe and not cough, it was just a mess. So but I don't know, maybe me like looking fabulous and feeling fabulous is helping, the cellular situation in my immune system kind of like, we here. We got you, Nerese. We gonna fight this little whatever. Can't nothing stop us. Period. As I feel a sneeze coming on. Hold on. Okay, alright. But yeah, that was pretty much everything that I wanted to say on here. I didn't want to be on here too long. And, make sure you go watch my video of me doing a cover to Aloe, because it's a vibe. And, use that sound. I want to see you guys get a little bit creative with the vibes. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those like aesthetical flowers in the background and, travel aesthetic. Which, I'm here for it. I love it. So it's your girl Nerese. Shout out to my divine folks. I appreciate you. Some of the folks who popped in on the live. If you watched the playback, I'm here for that too. And be sure to check out the website too. I have new t-shirts. Oh yeah, that was another thing that I wanted to say. Right? So, I did the campaign video that was with hats. I had the beanie hat, the dad cap, the hoodie, and the hoodie. I just wore the hoodie 2 different ways. That was what I did. But yeah, so I added t-shirts on the website. Not only did I add t-shirts, but everything comes in white too. So like you see me in the video with all the black and gold, like I have white and gold too, which I feel like is perfect for the summer. And I had just ordered samples of the t-shirts because I had put the t-shirts up. I'm not gonna lie, I haven't actually bought the samples just yet, but I know like the t-shirts, I've bought those samples before for my previous business, so I knew the quality was gonna be good. And so I was like, okay, I love this t-shirt because I know it's really soft and it's, and the print stayed on, and I've worn that t-shirt for a long time. So like, even though it wasn't the same exact product, it was like a similar, type of product, and I knew like it would come out decent. And then also I have some t-shirts with like it embroidered, so it's going to be embroidered with Divine on the side, and I'm so excited about that. I just ordered my samples, and those should be coming soon. So, I'll probably go on live and do like an unboxing, haul or whatever, Divine merch unbox. So you all see the t-shirts and get a feel for the vibe and what it looks like and the quality and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? So yes, be on the lookout for that. I'm so excited about it. So that was everything that I wanted to say, and then of course, like stream Divine, purchase Divine, go on my website. Everything is there, like from the merch, from the music, and if you have performances coming up and you're looking to book me, I am down for that as well. I'm definitely an independent artist, but let me tell you, a Nerese show, oh man, like, I don't know what these folks out here be doing, because I don't be paying attention to people except for like what's going on in my world. But let me tell you something, a Nerese performance, it is a vibe, okay? Like I said, I'm very hands-on with the visual aspect as well as the sonics. And when I tell you, like, in my last live, I was talking about, like, just the growing pains of, like, womanhood as someone who grew up without their mother. And I was just trying to figure out my swag and my style and, like, how to express myself and stuff like that. And so I was saying, like, I feel like, with the last few years, I finally feel like I'm in a place where I've figured out, like, me and how I express myself, not only as a woman, but as an artist. And that's translated to my visual styles. Like if you get a sense of what a performance by Nerese would look like, check out my, like, the clips that I did, like the visual arts. Like if you look on my highlights on my page, and I have like visual art, vocals, empowerment tea, and all that stuff. Empowerment tea, of course, is like my empowerment little short messages to lift your spirits through the day. Hello. Hey, girl. I have not seen you in such a long time. I hope you're doing well. Yeah, if you check out my highlights, my empowerment tea has the empowerment stuff. Vocals have the vocals. And visual art, which again is through Third Eye Visions. Any visual creative thing that I do, whether I'm like styling something, modeling, doing movement, choreographing it, but also like shooting it, doing the lighting, doing the editing, building the set. Because, like I have my little, hold on, I don't want to show too much of my room right now, but as you can see, you have my little draped set. I know my mirror is kind of out, but it doesn't usually look like that. But that's my little kind of like in my room set, that I put together, my little visual projects and stuff like that. But, like I was saying, like I'm very hands-on with the visual aspect of my artistry as well as the sounds. So like, the vocals are vocaling, they give what they give. But seeing me live is like, there's costumes, there's a, aesthetic, there's flowers, because, I have my little mic stand with my flowers and everything. And as you can see, I'm wearing a shirt with floral flowers are my vibe, flowers and lace and everything. But check out like iridescent lace and holographic silk. They're like little shorts that I put together for social media, but it gives you a sense of like my visual editing style. And I like to use like iridescent borders and like cosmic images and stuff like that. So, that's a part of my whole like style and just like my world and my vibe when it comes to like artistry. So yeah, check that out. And so I don't know if you know anybody that's looking for a performer. I'm telling you, it's a show that you wouldn't want to miss, honey. But that was pretty much everything. I think I'm done plugged my every aspect of my life because, your girl does it all. But yeah, I just wanted to have that little conversation about like innovative women in music. And I feel like not enough people talk about Teena Marie. And not only was she an amazing singer, but like she was a multi-instrumentalist, a songwriter, damn near a rapper, and she started her own record label. Like who does that? Like that was unheard of in the 90s. And now we have people like Beyonce and Solange and I'm trying to think who else have started their own record label. At this point, Mariah Carey has her own record label where she pretty much houses her own music, and Janet Jackson. It didn't start out there that way, but eventually, as they've matured in their careers, they probably got wind like, okay, you know what, we should probably start our own LLC and then do our masters through this, and now it's become a thing that more people are talking about. And you didn't really see that too often. So, as I'm in my journey as an artist, visual artist, record label owner, it's interesting, especially when you have to like wear every single hat possible. But you learn a lot. And when you start to get to a space where you delegate tasks and responsibilities to other people, I'm learning that you have to be intentional about the people that work with you, because, some people would just do it just to do it and, not really care. And then, there's people who are really passionate about what they do. And you have to find those people who are passionate and really give a fuck. And not only that, but believe in your vision and trust your leadership. And, and are willing to believe in you as well as the mission, and are like down for the cause, because that's hard to come by. But when you find it, like, you gotta cherish it, because some people like be playing for real, and I don't have time to play games because this is not a game. There's this saying that Byron Allen says that has stuck with me and I live by, and he says, don't play the game, own the game. And with that said, it's your girl Nerese, artist and owner of Neomac Entertainment LLC, that we are building from the ground up. And you know, I just hope this inspires somebody. Whatever you want to do in your life, it doesn't even have to be music, but whatever you're talented in and you're really passionate about, like, it's not easy, but it's worth it. And that's the most important thing, you know, building something that you're proud of and that aligns with what you actually want to fucking do while you're here on the planet. You know what I'm saying? Like, we all landed on the planet. Why do basic things when there's so much more to us? You know what I mean? Like, there are so many things that we do as people and so many aspects of us. And, you know, I feel like we should live a life where we can find joy and happiness in what we do because we're actually passionate about it and find ways to make a living from that, you know. And of course, it's not easy, but again, I promise you it's worth it. So, you know, I do these lives just so you can kind of get a sense of my world and what I stand for and where I'm at these days and what my focus is. And also to show you kind of like the behind the scenes, you know, because it's one thing to see like the videos and the cute pictures and all of that stuff and even the empowerment tea. But, you know, I often have a lot to say, especially when it comes to like music and entertainment and the business side of things, because nobody really talks about that. I mean, that's not true. But there's a lot of podcasts these days where they talk about it. But there's aspects of business that I don't see people talking about that I want more conversations to be around. So, I mean, and they say if you feel like something's missing, start it. You know, if you don't see something, create it. So here I am. All right, so that's it. I'm kind of rambling at this point, but you know, thanks to everybody who popped in this live. I will be going live more often. I'll try to like find a way to make this a consistent thing. But at this point, I'm just posting because I don't do it enough. And, you know, Stormy Wellington said, girl, you need to be posting. If you got a brand, if you got products to sell, you need to post. So, I mean, I'll be posting, you know, I won't post so much of my products, but just more so like the vibes, you know, it's a vibe. But yeah, I do have the t-shirts coming, so I am really excited about that. And, yeah, that will be like some of the products, and of course like my music stuff, which is playing in the background. I don't know if y'all can hear that. You know, we gotta plug the things, you know, plug the things, darling. Yes. But yes, thank you for dropping by the live. Check out the vibes. Go subscribe to all of the channels that I got, because you know I gotta pay these bills. Alright, y'all, it's your girl Reese, and I am outie. Make sure you watch the playback if you missed it. Have a good day, stay blessed, much love and light to you all. It's your girl Reese, and I'm out.